been through this kind of thing before, but nervous, excitement. What's the feeling right now?
Excited. I'm ready to get out there and play with these guys, and have a chance to get familiar with things yesterday in practice, and so I'm ready to go tonight.
Deron, how much did you talk to Andrew leading up to his decision to join the Cavs?
Not a lot. We were just texting back and forth, once everything kind of happened, and kind of seeing where each other was at. But not a whole lot. I was just talking with him, just talking with him. I think he just kind of made me comfortable with being here, and I know a lot of these guys on this team already, and so that was a big factor as well. But Kyle's kind of the selling point, to that.
What drew you to this opportunity, and how do you anticipate your role? And what do you anticipate your role being throughout the playoff run?
I just feel like I can help this team win. And whatever my role is, that'll figure itself out over the course of the next couple months. In the regular season, and then on into the playoffs. And so, I haven't really talked about like a number of minutes or anything like that, but just I know I can help this team win.
Deron, you had put on that Cavs uniform, but then the ovation that you got from them the other night at the arena, what was that like?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I've played in Cleveland a bunch, so I know that the fans definitely get behind them, and they're great. But it was definitely it was awesome to hear that reaction when I came out.
Derek Carlisle said you're a better team defender and a better defender than you want to give you credit for. How much pride do you take in that end of the floor?
I think you have to as a basketball player. You can't like to get scored on. So I'm not the quickest person, I'm not the fastest person, but I try to do my best on the defensive end, and just play solid defense. I don't gamble too much, go for steals, but I just try to play positions and use that to my strengths.
Deron, for you, what was the most attractive thing about Cleveland?
Winning the championship. The possibility of winning the championship, competing, night in and night out. I think that was the most important thing.
What about teaming up with LeBron? What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, playing with him in the Olympics, it's always somebody I would want to play with. Just watching him every day and seeing him lead and just seeing the type of work he puts into the game. It was always something that was in my mind. And so I'm definitely glad that I get this opportunity to play with him. Play with a great one, in Dirk in Dallas, and got to learn from him. And so now I get to come over here and play with Bron.
As a career move, where does this rank for you?
It's too early to tell. Ask me in June.
Yeah, when you heard about the Cavs' interest, was there ever really a question?
Well, I knew they were interested. Like I said, they were interested in me in the off season, and so I knew there was definitely interest there. And kind of, name had been thrown around a lot, during the year, but it was hard to turn down. It was definitely a hard offer to turn down, just because of really they had a need for a backup point guard and somebody who could play with Kyrie as well, but the chance to win.
Is there a challenge a little bit taking that backup role?
Not really. I mean, it's not like I came in here expecting to start. It's not like they told me I was going to start, so I don't see it being a problem.
But you could also see yourself at times playing with Kyrie too, both being able to play off the ball.
For sure. I think we could definitely work together, well, especially when you go small. I can guard twos, ones, whatever, so that's not a problem.
What do you think Andrew has to offer this team?
I mean, he's a 7-footer that protects the rim. Is very smart, knows the game, knows how to pass, and so he's won a championship, so he knows what it takes, and I think he can bring a lot to this team.
You've joined the team in the middle of the season. How long does the transition take to really start feeling comfortable?
I don't know. I think it just depends on every team. I think with this team, it's going to be really, really easy because you got a bunch of veteran guys who know how to play the game, and so it's just a matter of time.
So are you officially the real D. Will now?
Yeah, I think I get that because of the years in the league.
How many of these guys have you played with before?
Just Kyle and Bron. Yeah. And Kevin. Yeah, he's not here, so I didn't really count him.